Chapter 9. It was extremely awkward getting Mustang off the roof, but once they were both on the ground again, they made their way slowly back. Ken walked, supporting him the whole way home. When they at last reached Mustang's apartment, they trudged up the steps towards his door. It was left unlocked, conveniently enough. "I hardly bother locking my door most of the time," Mustang grinned smugly. "I'd only lose my keys anyway." "It's not safe to do that," Ken told him sternly. "What's gonna happen?" Mustang laughed. "Someone could break in and steal from you?" Ken replied as if it were obvious. "It's only stuff." "Someone could hurt you, could attack you in your sleep." "Meh." Ken shook his head, leading Mustang into his apartment and closing the door. He led him over to his bedroom, sitting him down on the bed. He went over to the windows to shut the curtains before returning to Mustang, sitting on the bed beside him. "What is the matter with you?" Ken asked him desperately. "Why are you doing this to yourself?" Mustang groaned heavily, his head in his hands. "I need to fuck something," Mustang mumbled. "What?" Mustang raised his head, turning to face Ken then. A strange look crossed his eyes suddenly, one of rage and lust. Ken rose from the bed quickly as Mustang made a lunge for him. He backed himself against the wall as Mustang advanced slowly on him, eyes fixed upon Ken like a hunter to its prey. Ken's heart tightened in his chest and he made a dash for the door, but Mustang was too fast. He was at the door before Ken could reach it, slamming it shut and rounding on Ken. Fear began to rise inside Ken as he slowly backed away, staring wide-eyed at Mustang, who took a step towards him. "Mustang?" Ken said, his voice shaking. "What are you doing?" Mustang grabbed him by the arm roughly, throwing him back onto the bed. He was upon him before Ken had time to act, bearing over him, pinning him down, and kissing him. "No!" Ken cried, breaking away from him. "Stop!" Mustang grabbed his wrists as he began to struggle, holding him tightly. "Mustang!" Ken flinched as Mustang bit into his neck, so hard he caused him to bleed. Mustang attacked him viciously. "Get off me!" Ken shouted at him, squeezing his eyes tight shut. His heart constricted in his chest as he felt Mustang touch him between his legs. He grabbed Mustang's hand as he went to unzip him. "Stop, Mustang, please!" Ken turned over then on his front. Pushing himself to his knees, he tried to crawl away. But Mustang grabbed him again, slipping his hand up his shirt. Ken groaned in pain as Mustang clawed his chest. Mustang grabbed him by the hair, jerking his head back. Ken flinched, becoming still then in Mustang's grasp. "Please stop," Ken whispered, shaking. "Please don't hurt me." Ken couldn't see Mustang, but he stopped his assault suddenly, feeling Ken beginning to tremble. He felt Mustang relax slightly and waited for what he would do next. Ken sat back, facing away from Mustang. "Please," Ken whispered, his body trembling violently from the shock. "Please don't do this." Mustang grabbed him suddenly, but not in the same way he had before. He embraced him now, Ken's eyes wide with shock as he felt Mustang's body racked with sobs as he held him. Ken glanced around then. Mustang looked up at him, eyes wide and shining. "Please help me," Mustang said. "I'm so scared." Ken gasped at this, his heart skipping a beat. Mustang held him tightly, sobbing into his shoulder. "Mustang?" Ken muttered uncertainly. "What's wrong?" "I'm sorry," Mustang whispered, letting go of him and pushing him away, turning from him as he did. "I'm sorry," he said again. "You should go." Ken moved away, rising from the bed and adjusting himself. He stared in shock and disbelief at Mustang as he continued to cry, head in his hands. He turned slowly, moving to the door and opening it, pausing to glance back at Mustang, who ignored him. He closed the door after him and made to leave. Ken was at the front door when he froze, hand reaching out to the handle, hovering over it. He relaxed suddenly, turning back to the apartment. Everything was silent, almost airy. Ken lingered there for a moment before heading back towards the bedroom, feeling so torn, so confused. I can't leave Mustang like this, Ken mumbled uncertainly to himself. I just can't. He returned to the bedroom, grimacing then before opening the door slowly. Mustang lay on the bed on his side. He was still now, and Ken watched him with sadness. I can't leave him like this. Ken closed the door after him, padding slowly across the room and towards the bed. Mustang? He spoke quietly, but Mustang did not respond. He was fast asleep, and so quickly. Ken sat back down upon the bed, watching him closely as Mustang breathed calmly. I'll just stay until morning, he thought, lying down on the other side of the bed on his side with his back to Mustang, just to make sure he's all right. He lay down to rest. It took him a while to sleep, and when he at last did, he was woken sometime later. At first, he didn't know what had woken him, and then he heard strange noises. Ken rolled over quickly, looking around in alarm. Mustang! Mustang was tossing and turning, groaning and clutching his chest. Oh, God! Ken gasped. Mustang rolled over then towards the edge of the bed and was violently sick. He's having a heart attack! Ken leapt up, fumbling for his mobile in his pocket and dialing the number. On the bed, Mustang lay on his back now, skin beaded with sweat as his body contorted. He groaned again, throwing his head back, both his hands at his chest now. Please help, Ken called down the line. I need an ambulance, quick! As the voice on the other end was speaking to him, Ken whipped around to the bed again. His body went cold as he saw Mustang had become still. Crawling over the bed to him and leaning over him, he touched his body, shaking him and calling out his name. But Mustang was unresponsive. Ken felt for a pulse, then pressed an air to his chest. Oh, God, Ken whined, voice breaking in panic. His heart's not beating. He's dead. The voice on the phone told him to be calm, asked for the address, and told Ken that help was on the way. Is he breathing? The woman on the phone asked. No, Ken was shaking, putting his ear over Mustang's mouth and watching his chest for 10 seconds. Oh, please. Just stay calm, the voice said, and do what I say. Can you perform CPR? No. Okay, place the heel of your hand on the center of his chest and interlock your other hand on top. Lock your arms and press down on his chest 30 times. Ken dropped the phone upon the bed, listening to the woman and pressing down on Mustang's chest. After 30 times, he stopped, pinching his nose and breathing into him, repeating the whole procedure over again, stopping only when the ambulance arrived. Ken stepped back as the paramedics got to work, answering hurriedly any questions they asked him, barely able to stop himself from shaking. Is he going to be okay? He whimpered. We don't know yet, the paramedic answered as Mustang was carried away on a stretcher. His heart has started again, but we won't be in the clear until we get him to a hospital. Ken rode in the ambulance to the hospital. Sitting in the passenger side at the front, feeling sick to his stomach and caught in a sudden sense of unreality. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. They reached the hospital. Mustang was taken away, and the next thing Ken knew was that he was sitting alone in the waiting room. He glanced up at the clock. It was 3 a.m. Oh, God, he thought as he stared at it. This is horrible. The minutes ticked by, agonizingly slow. Each time Ken glanced at the clock, only a minute or two seemed to have passed. He sighed heavily, putting his head in his hands.